I was just going to pretend for a full massage there, but it's fun.
I think we've got Carol and clairvoyant things.
Tarot, reading,
Just need to close the door.
what's the principle of what you can do here?
Cool. Right. So yeah, today's very much been about, well, the theme of it has been about images, shapes, colours, visualising things. Well, that's been the metaphor I've used to hopefully get across to you the key messages of things that could have an importance, a meaning, and an emotion. And it's all about pain and pleasure and just changing things. And you know, the sections of NLP courses, what we did before the break, when they would take a full day to teach you that technique and then split you up in groups, and have you practice it on each other. Which is a totally pointless exercise because in a seminar environment, the fact is, however good the technique is, you're going to do it and the person's going to go, oh, that's great. Because they want to feel good when it's their turn to do it. The truth of the matter is, as long as you understand that why it works, it will work. And then you add to that the other level of you're the perceived expert because they've seen the specialist smoking cessation website or the weight loss one or the confidence one or the anxiety or the phobias or the whichever particular niche it happens to be, which just before the end of the day, in about 45 minutes time, Stuart's going to talk to you a little bit about marketing. Because it is so bloody important. Because without marketing you don't have clients, but also without marketing done in the right way, you don't have that credibility and perception of being the authority figure. Which is by now hopefully you realise so important to the process. Before I ask you to talk a little bit about that, we mentioned Milton Erickson before. Lots of people hold him up as being this expert because he could apparently just tell stories and, you know, after a number of sessions the person would be cured. He was telling magic stories, as they call them, metaphors, stories with messages. But it took him session after session. I get the same bloody result in 10 minutes if I wanted, in the right context, but an hour at tops. So was he really that good? In fact, when you look at it, there's a book called Milton Erickson, The Emperor's New Clothes. Always not what it seems to be. A guy called Alexander, spelled, second name is spelled with a T, so it's T-S-A-N-D-E-R. Search his name on Amazon, you can find the book. It's Milton Erickson, The Emperor's New Clothes. And he examines all the stories that are in the NLP books about the scripts of what Milton did and shows how you could have done this way more quicker. In actual fact, Milton Erickson was pretty crap. And he's just been held up as some kind of god. He was pretty shit. The only thing he was really good at was publicity and spending inordinate amounts of time in reporters' offices convincing them that he had some special skill. That's a very fleeting, very cynical, compressed version of the Emperor's New Clothes book, but my point is this. A client, and surely if you're working ethically and morally, someone's paying you to achieve something, the quicker you can do that for them, surely that's better than charging them session after session after session and mind fucking them like we talked about earlier in the day. Surely it's going to be more ethical and moral to do it rapidly for them with the least amount of pain and trauma. Well, I would argue such. Hence, I don't hold much value to conversational hypnosis or the Milton model. I printed out randomly off the internet, I just searched conversational hypnosis Milton model to get the bullet point headings of the winky wanky terms they use. And I do know them, but it's not got any importance attached in my mind, the winky wanky terms, because as we've said, you're never going to tell a client what a winky wanky term is, and if you do, it's just from the point of view of a therapist trying to make themselves seem more fucking important, not necessarily. And in fact, this whole covert conversational hypnosis thing, learning conversational hypnosis so you can persuade people to do things without them even knowing. You've hypnotised them through your conversation Bullshit. That is just called good communication. Nothing more when it works. Other than that, all it is a scenario where people buy into the construct, the concept, pay for a course, learn these techniques that make them feel important, like they've got some special magic skill. And because of that, it gives them an inner confidence. It increases their levels of self-confidence, self-image, self-esteem and self-control. It makes them self-worth and self-respect grow a bit. So they naturally come across more confident. And it's proven through scientific studies, people who appear more confident, naturally more persuasive. Personally, that's all I think there is to it. But hey, let's have a look at some of the winky-wanky titles. Okay, so, cause and effect implied. The therapist makes a statement that implies that one thing causes another, or states that one thing is true, therefore the next thing must be true. The statement may be untrue, or there may be no direct link between the one thing and the other. Oh, fuck off. They're true, what they're saying, but let's get to the point. I prefer to call it kind of false logic. The example they're giving here is, and knowing that you can stop gives you the right to change. Well, true logic is, what the fuck's that got to do with it? Knowing you can stop doesn't give you the right to change. You always have the right to change. But they've had to give it this fancy title. Basically, what it means is that you say something that is reality. So, as you sit there in that chair now, you realise you can relax just as rapidly as you want to. Implying that because they're sat in that chair and their brain goes, that's for real, telling me the truth, that means I can relax as rapidly as I want to, which is kind of a suggestion, an embedded command, they would argue, of you're going to relax rapidly. If you believe that stuff, that's what that means. Don't worry, I made it even easy for you, as you'll find. Complex equivalence. This is where a Milton model suggestion is given that one thing is the same as or equivalent to some other thing. It isn't that one thing causes another, but the implication that because one thing is true, the other thing must be true. For example, seeing yourself on that bridge demonstrates that you have made a decision today. No, it fucking doesn't. Snapping that tape means you are choosing a different life. Because you have control, you have choice in everything you do. You can identify a complex equivalence by substituting is the same as for the linking verb whereas. The word causes does not fit. So, in other words, as you sit there in that chair now, you realise that you can start to relax rapidly. Whereas previously in the past it once used to bother you, you realise now that you relax more completely. It's twaddle talk, I prefer to call it, okay? But twaddle talk, as I prefer to call it, causes confusion and disorientation in the conscious mind. And when you cause confusion and disorientation in the conscious mind, and that's occupied with that, you arguably, if you believe in this stuff, bypass the critical faculty of the brain, or as some people call it, the analytical area, and therefore you gained access to the unconscious mind, subconscious mind. And if that was to be true, maybe it is, then that would mean that once you're in the unconscious mind, that the commands you give them, the scenarios you go through, will be more enforced, enhanced, amplified, and become reality for them. So it's worth bearing in mind, but don't get hung up on it, is my message here.
Yeah, okay, how do you rate that, just when we're talking about all the wonky speak kind of stuff? Right,
Adam 10 we'll cover with inductions tomorrow. Conversational postulate. Fuck off, come on with simpler than that. A conversational postulate is a question which, on the face of it, requires a yes or no answer, but which is really demanding a specific behaviour. Could you pass me the cream is a request for action, not an inquiry about your ability. Do you really have to stand there is a request for someone to move. Similarly, questions can be posed in hypnosis that are really instructions. So it sounds, in other words, in layman's terms, It's structured like a question, but it will be perceived as being a command. But in conversational hypnosis, if they didn't take it as a command, it wouldn't look like you failed, because it would look like you just asked a question. Right? Essentially, that's not the way they'd ever explain it to you, but that's the fucking truth of the matter. Examples. I wonder if you can recall a time when you were really relaxed. The implication being you'll start to recall a time when they were really relaxed, and therefore could think of it, mental images as we've spoken about, that they'll conjure up those feelings that are connected to that memory pattern in the brain and thus take on that feeling, if that makes sense. Can you imagine some peaceful, restful place? I can't be arsed with this wording. Some you might like it, but the truth is that's going to say to them. And now in your mind's eye, just imagine you're relaxing more, turning off all the power to the muscles, get to the fucking point. But nonetheless, just so you're aware of it, because I don't want you to fall into the trap of thinking you need to go on additional courses to learn this winky wanky shit. It's irrelevant. When it works for the exact same reasons I've already told you and taught you. Extended quotation. Oh, this is a laugh. Oh, sorry, before that, embedded commands. So, the sentence here says, I can see that, I'm going to read it normally first. I can see that you're comfortable lying there, relaxing in that chair, quietly confident, looking so comfortable as if you're ready to just let things go and relax. That would be as if you're just ready. Now, I'm purposely going to overemphasise certain words that are in bold here. So, it could become, I can see that you are comfortable lying there, relaxing in that chair, quietly confident, looking so comfortable, as if you are ready to just let things go and relax. Now, you might think that's ridiculous, and I'm not going to mention names, but there is someone we affectionately call the shouting hypnotist, whose idea of using this kind of technique with street hypnosis is to shout the embedded commands at the level I've done to take the piss and point it out. The point is, it's supposed to be just a very gradual voice tone increase. So consciously, the person isn't aware of it, but their unconscious mind is aware of the fact that the words comfortable, relaxing, quietly confident, so comfortable in that sentence are a slightly higher or lower level. It's different to the rest of the sentence. So that they stand out and the mind picks up on them and therefore attaches importance to them and therefore takes them as commands. So in a more real world scenario, it would be more like, I can see that you are comfortable lying there, relaxing in that chair, quietly confident, looking so comfortable, as if you are ready to just let things go. Difference, emphasis, but not like, Aah! That's what they call an embedded command. What I love to use is, I don't know if you want to go into trance right now or in a few moments' time, but go into trance you will all the same. And we've already said there's no such thing as trance, but people attach to that word the idea it's the hypnotist and the feelings, and if that's what they believe and we give them the scenario that they can buy into, then it's more likely that they experience the magic. Lost performative. A suggestion is presented to the subconscious stating that some opinion is true, but does not say how it is known to be true, or who is saying it. The therapist intends that the subconscious will accept the statement as being self-evident and not ask for proof. Examples include, your subconscious mind will find the correct answer. You are never going to have a problem with your nails again. No habit can stand up to the power of the mind. I prefer, in layman's terms, to call this the unanswerable comment. Because your subconscious mind will find the correct answer. Will it? I don't know. Maybe it will. I don't know. They don't fucking know. They're perceiving you as the authority figure mind expert. If you say it, it must be true. Extended quotation. If you attribute a suggestion to someone else, this can avoid a lot of resistance from the client. They use this in magic stories, so-called covert hypnosis. By using one or more levels of quotation, you can say almost anything to the client and will probably confuse the unconscious mind in the process. That's the only bit I agree to. possible confusion. Probably more at a conscious level, but that's fine because that means then you bypass the critical faculty analytical area. And arguably, if you believe in that, that means you're talking directly to the unconscious. So you've hypnotised them. Milton Erickson once told the story about how he told a man you can learn to relax instantly. And the man found he could relax immediately and said, you know, everyone can relax faster than they think. I met a man from Bombay who said the secret of confidence is fake it till you make it. And as you circulate around that party, you overhear someone saying, I'm so proud of her. She is the best daughter I could ever have wished for. She has become everything hoped for. And the other person replies, yes, maybe we didn't say it often enough. Maybe we thought she would just know it. I prefer to call this third-party bollocks. Right? So it's the idea of telling a story where someone else is saying what you as the hypnotist could directly say. In other words, you've got more confidence. Your parents might not have said they didn't, they loved you enough, but they did deep down. But they might not accept that. There could be resistance. So you make out that, they imagine overhearing it being said at a party. It's basically just removing that resistance, but saying the same fucking thing. Why they've got to give it fancy names, God knows. Mind reading. The Milton model designs the suggestion as if knowing what the client is thinking or feeling, when the reality is that the therapist has no way of knowing what the client is thinking. Examples include: part of your mind is wondering how fast you are going into trance right now, or you are becoming more curious about how that change is occurring. Well, you don't fucking know what they're thinking. That's why I said bollocks. Just add in it's almost as if. Tell them what you want. Just add in it's almost as if, and you get the same effect. Unless you know for a fact that they're going to feel something, and with all the induction techniques we'll cover tomorrow, you know for a fact that when you say to them in a moment you feel a tingling in your arms, that they will, because of the physical technique you're going to use. So it's beyond mind reading, because you know for a fact they will feel it, and therefore when they do feel it, they come to believe it's because you said the words, they thought it, and it happened. So they come to a point where they go, you know what? I'll stop consciously analysing it. Critical faculty goes, I've seen enough proof. He or she says something, I imagine it becomes reality. Therefore, this is what always happens, and gives up examining it, at which point, arguably you've hypnotised and you're in the unconscious. Whatever you say goes in. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. Modal operator. These are phrases that use words that imply things could happen or must happen. Typical Milton model operators include words such as can, should, must, might, could, would, will. Modal operators might be the most commonly used hypnotic form. Example: and each gentle breath out can lead to more relaxation. Or, and you could be surprised at how quickly you go into trance now. Or, you might notice your left hand getting heavy. I actually agree with this one. So nothing to add on that, I agree with that. Bizarrely. Why they have to call it modal operator, God knows what, basically, it's a fancy name. Negative suggestions. Their explanation, this is fucking hilarious. Negative suggestions are similar to conversational postulates, in that they ask for one thing but really expect a different behaviour. The Milton model works because the unconscious mind does not deal with negatives well, and tends to ignore the words don't and not, and instead focuses on the object of the sentence. The sentence, don't think of a kangaroo, must bring out a memory of a kangaroo before it can not be thought of, meaning you've already thought of it, so negative questions can be used to give positive commands. It's true, but why the fuck you've got to give a wank? Just said it with a kangaroo bit. Examples. And I don't want you to feel that you are going into trance now. So whatever they're feeling at that moment, the chances are they're going to go, this must mean I am going into trance now. Oops, I wasn't supposed to feel it. Oh dear, what's going on? Confusion and disorientation. Great. Confusion and disorientation. Great. But don't give it fancy names unnecessarily. Nominalisations. The Milton model is all about using words in an artfully vague way. Wasting time, as I like to call it. A nominalisation is a word formed from a process. For example, the verb to restrict can be nominalised into the noun restriction. The word restriction is then treated as if it is a thing, and the fact that it refers to an ongoing process is forgotten. By using the nominalisation, the thing that is treated as if it is over and done with, when in fact the process may still be going on. Nouns ending in ship, meant, ion or ings are often nominalisations. For example, relationship, annulment, learnings, decision. By treating the word as have you got lost? Because I've fucking fed up with that. I'm not even going to read the last. But examples are, your relaxation is increasing as you listen to my voice. Or, by moving your finger, you confirm your irrevocable decision. Fuck off. Just get to the point. Trust me, you don't need to waste money on NLP courses. Just get to the point. The client wants a result. And the results will be got the way we've talked about, just changing the pain to the pleasure to the pain. Asking them for what it currently is, what it needs to be, and then getting them to change it. They're the experts on themselves, even though they may not know it. Are there any more of this blank? There is a few more. Can't even say it. Non-sequitur. Sequitur. S-E-Q-U-I-T-U-R. That's how much I give a shit about it. The Milton model non sequitur is a statement presented in the form of cause leads to effect. A equals B. But where there is in fact no logical connection between A and B. The structure of the statement fools the listener by starting with a statement of something that is true and then specifying an outcome that does not logically follow. Getting the client to focus on their breathing has nothing to do with relaxation. Well, I beg to differ. There, by the way. Fucked up there. If you get someone to focus on the breathing and they start breathing more deeply and regularly, it's got everything to do with relaxation. But hey-oh. But by stating something that is true, that they are focusing on their breathing, the mind is distracted into accepting the second part, that they can relax. No, it fucking doesn't, you dickheads. It's because they generally are more likely to relax. They've actually got that wrong. But hey-oh. But I get the premise of what they're saying. Have they got an example that's any good here today? As I count down the steps, you will go deeper into trance. Well, you're genuinely going to count 10 down to 1. So that's definitely going to happen as a reality. And the implication is that then they will go deeper into trance. I would say a better example would actually be something that's logical into non-logical, would be that logically, let's imagine you've just locked their hands together and they can't separate them, which we'll cover tomorrow. In a few moments' time, when I tap you on the back of the hands, just as you use your powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration effectively a few moments ago to lock your hands together so wonderfully and strongly, so in the same way you realise right now that when I tap you on the back of the hands, not only will they separate, but your eyes will close and your heavy head will fall forward onto your chest. There's no logical reason to part B, but according to non-sequiturs, it means because that happened. No, fuck off. What it means is, in my world anyway, something that genuinely is reality that won't be questioned makes them not question the other bit. That's the way I describe it. Presuppositions, alright, this is one that's true. A Milton model presupposition talks about the consequences of something and deliberately avoids mentioning the underlying concept. The suggestion starts from an assumption that the thing is true and then discusses the consequences of that thing being true. By focusing on the consequences, whether the thing is true or not is ignored and never tested. Why the fuck do they have to describe things like that? Example. And now as you relax more deeply, you feel something different. Well, you see the relaxing more deeply because the breathing's gone deeper, so you know that bit's true. So then you're adding on to that, you feel something different, which is you're presupposing they'll feel something different because if they look like they're more relaxed than they were before, they should feel different, which is logical, but you're presupposing it, you don't know for sure. I prefer an example of a presupposition being more like what they call future pacing, namely that the moment they come through the door for the therapy session, I presuppose the idea that they're cured. And everything I say and do is on the emphasis, context and structure that they're cured. They don't smoke anymore, they're not scared, they don't have the panic attacks, or whatever it is they come for. So everything I talk, I'm talking in a manner where I'm presupposing the idea that it's already changed. That's as close as any relevance I'd give that. In animations, these are Milton model statements that assign feelings or actions to things that cannot have any. Technically, these are called selection or restriction violations. Take your word for it. A sofa cannot think, a plant cannot talk, but sentences can be constructed that sound that way. And because our minds are specially tuned to metaphor, well, visual imagery, abstract, they are, that's true, I'll agree with them on that. This type of suggestion will be accepted by the unconscious mind. It will, because the unconscious mind works in abstract images. That's why when you dream at night, you get weird, crazy, fucked up images sometimes. So, examples are, that chair you sit in now knows the secrets of many clients. The idea being that their brain will go, many clients must have had ideas like I've got in my head, so we all know a lot of secrets. A chair doesn't know any fucking secrets. Well, that's, I would say it's also adding to the confusion and disorientation element of things in truth, which is something they don't talk about. Tag questions. These are Milton model questions that encourage the client to confirm the truth of the words immediately preceding the phrase, aren't they? Or isn't it? Or don't you? Or won't you? Phrases like that. If you read that question again, okay, which I will, these are Milton model questions that encourage the client to confirm the truth of the words immediately preceding, aren't they? Meaning that's what it is. So if you read that question again, it's almost impossible not to say yes, isn't it? It's always good to get the client into a positive frame of mind. I'm sure you would agree. Another example. If the tag question is delivered with a descending tone of voice, it reinforces the statement as an embedded command and discourages conflict, basically. So relaxing can be very enjoyable, isn't it? So they're likely to say yes. In other words, fuck calling it tag questions. It's what they called in sales for years before NLP existed, the yes set. It's the so. Everyone here today, you all got here safely, didn't you? Yeah, fantastic, brilliant. You've all come here to discover X, Y, Z, haven't you? Yes, blah, blah, blah. And you just ask them questions they've got to say yes to, and then throw in something that, if you add the end of isn't it, don't you, won't you, they've got to basically say yes, because they're in a pattern, as NLP like to call it, a pattern of saying yes. Well, you could spend time wasted thinking about that, and the best way of phrasing things, or you could take the simple, lazy person's option, which is what I'll be teaching you. Truism sets. A truism is a statement of the obvious. Like most of this. In the Milton model, truisms are used in sets to produce a spurious cause and effect. Very similar to a yes set. The client listens to the first truism statement and agrees with it. The client listens to the next truism and agrees with that too. The next suggestion is then made, power of 3. I've added that bit. The good bits I'm adding, not the bad. The next suggestion is then made, power of 3, while the agreement with the truism is still in mind. So it too will be accepted as true, even if it has nothing to do with the first statement. An example of a truism set might be, people are happiest when they feel loved and needed. There are times when everyone underestimates their own talent. Everyone wants to be liked and everyone needs to be loved, and you are learning to listen to your emotions. Which I think are shit examples. This is from proper NLP training, which disturbs me, frankly. A better example may be a truism of, like I said before, as you know, just as you realise how wonderfully you just used your powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration effectively to lock your hands together. And just as earlier on you found that you use your powers of mind effectively to lock and glue and weld cement together your eyelids, so you realise now it's just so much easier to let your head fall forward onto your chest, to allow yourself to breathe more deeply and regularly, and allow yourself to drift down, sink down into hypnosis. Something that genuinely happened, fuck it, this is likely to happen. I say that was a better example of a truism set. Universal quantifier. The Milton model uses statements with words such as all, every, always, never, any, everybody, nobody or no one. The act to generalise a particular statement. Universal quantifiers always have an element of exaggeration. Examples. All that has gone before is a resource for you. Every word you hear can be a signal to your unconscious. You know what? I'll give them this, universal quantifier. Take some shite and make it seem good. I use it all the time with induction. So for example, you'll hear me tomorrow using phrases such as, with every breath that you take, every noise that you hear, every word that I say and every thought that you think, it can just serve as a sign and a signal to help you relax more completely. I'll say that's a better example of a universal quantifier, and a far more useful one as well, because when you're doing a so-called induction process, at all times of an induction process, you're either going to be saying something, or they're going to be hearing something, thinking something, or feeling something, or thinking, you know. So if they attach their mind to the idea that any and all of them will help them relax more, then everything's in your favour. Unspecific comparison. A typical Milton model statement will use words to imply something and relies on the mind being too busy listening to the next words to really question the truth or logic of the what was just heard. In a classic Milton model statement, a comparison is made but does not specify what is being compared with. Examples it gives are, you will find yourself changing faster, or every day in every way you are getting better and better, fully enough, which we covered earlier. I think that one's self-explanatory. It's but not that important in the grand scheme of things. This is more important. Unspecific object, thank God there's only two left. Unspecific object, these are words that sound good but are actually quite vague. Milton model words such as learnings, outcomes, resources, findings, consideration can be used to ground almost anything, which makes the suggestion bulletproof. By using inclusive words, the client finds closure from their own resources. If you agreed with the previous sentence, you might want to reread it and consider whether it means anything at all. Correct, at least they're being honest for a change at the end. It's all bollocks. The examples being, and then come back to the present time with all the learnings you need. Or, you can open your mind to full consideration of everything that matters. You've not told them what matters, you just told them that they can do it. In other words, this is what I said much earlier in the day, but the way I taught it was this. Let them fill in the blanks for themselves. That's all this bollocks means on that particular point. Unspecific verb. Like the Milton model, unspecific objects, Milton model, verbs sound good but hard to pin down. The unconscious mind accepts the word in context and supplies its own meaning. Words such as wonder, change, understand, think, feel, etc. are non-specific and apply to anything. Can apply to anything. Example. And you may be wondering about how best to go into trance, and soon the time will come when you grasp all this. I call it linking waffle. It's just stuff you can say till you link to something that's far more important and better and more directed and relevant and making them have a better visual image. This is far more powerful than all this winky-wanky. And then they go on about analogue marking, raising your voice tones to make things stand out. There's things that they call, I've forgotten the name of it now, Milton language, conversational hypnosis. It's basically words that can have two meanings. So, a phrase, sadly I've got to admit I do use one of these. Personally I think it's just again, because it makes the person doing it think, I know some magic words and therefore it gives me more confidence and they transmit more confidence, and it's really that confidence and intent and belief that it's going to work for them that transmits to the client that makes it work, that's actually doing the magic, not the special covert conversational language. Well, what I do use that makes me smile every time I use it is the sentence, I'm apparently hypnotising them in the trance, and I use the sentence, I'm talking to your unconscious now. But when I do it to them, I do it like this. As you relax more, I'm just talking to your unconscious now, and because of that pause, it can be perceived consciously as I'm talking to your unconscious now, your unconscious mind. But they would argue, these nut jobs, as I affectionately like to call them, that because of that slight pause, the conscious mind takes it as I'm talking to your unconscious now, and the unconscious mind takes it as you're unconscious now as a command that hypnotises them. Personally, I think that's bollocks, but I do use that one because every time I think, oh, if there's any winky wanky NLPers in the audience at this show, they're going to think, oh, he's just used the magic language. It's fucking irrelevant. But there are some words that when you look at can have double meaning, which therefore can make people consciously perhaps go, oh, what does he mean by that? And while they're consciously preoccupied, that means that it could also help distract the critical or analytical area of the brain. So therefore, arguably, you're talking directly to the unconscious or the subconscious mind. So yeah, wonder is a good one. As you relax more and you just wander in your mind's eye. And I said it then, so it sounded even more like wonder. But it could just as easily have been wonder in your mind's eye what's coming next. And if you suddenly pause and unexpectedly end a sentence, so as you relax more and just wonder in your mind's eye, right now what is taking place is that you relax more. They would argue that consciously that could be taken up as, does it mean that as I wonder in my mind what's happening, what is happening is that I'm relaxing more, but that at an unconscious level, because of the break, the mind's distracted and therefore that part's taken as a separate suggestion that we're going to relax more, if that makes sense. And if you believe that and you want to buy into that, that's great. You can make up your own scripts that way, but it's great because I've already done the work for you, as you'll find out tomorrow. And make this even easier. I've shown you how complicated and bullshit it can be, but in truth, it's as simple as the pain and pleasure. Rewiring and switching it around, it truly, truly is. An element of so-called conversational hypnosis that I'm mentioning, and I'll use seduction as an example, is embedded commands or words meaning more than one thing, but also using visual gestures. So for example, I'll give you a couple of crude ones because it gets the point across, as you found much easier, mental imagery. So if I was out on the pole and I casually met someone, oh wow, what's your name? Sarah, nice to meet you, Sarah. Oh, I've got to say, the way you look, you just blow me away. It's fantastic, it really is. Now, broken down, what they would teach you is, I'll do it slower and more obvious. Hi, what's your name? Sarah, nice to meet you, Sarah. Well, I've got to say, the way you look is just fantastic. You just blow me away. And it's blow me, and I'm just pointing with my hands. You're basically going to suck me off, right? This is what speed seduction, registered trademark, Ross Jeffries, would teach you. That using something like that is going to get you a blowjob at the end of the night. I'm not going to stand here and say whether it works or not. But I don't want to drop myself in any old water. But you know what? No, I'll tell you actually, it does work. But it doesn't work. I don't believe it works because this casual sentence, oh, it's nice to meet you, Sarah. I've got to say, the way you look, oh, wow, it's amazing. You just blow me away. And I don't think about the visual pointing and the blow me and the embedded command. Maybe it is. Actually, it should be an embedded command when it comes to sexual seduction. But I don't think it is about that. I think it's about the individual who's paid money for this course gaining a sense of I've got a magic technique. That it gives them a confidence to be able to, the technique says I've got to walk up and be friendly and find the name, because the name is a beautiful thing to them, and then use it back and be a bit expressive, more so than other men. So the fact of just going, hi, what's your name? Sarah. Oh wow, Sarah, I've got to say, the way you look is just fantastic. You know, in fact, the way you look, you just blow me away, it's amazing. It's more about the fact that this person's gesticulating with their hands, and most people don't talk with their hands. More about the fact that it's taken time to find out her name and repeated it back and shown that therefore she's a person who must be worthy of feeling loved, wanted, needed, appreciated, cared for, cherished and valued. So therefore it's going to make their self-esteem, self-image, self-confidence, self-control, self-respect, all the things we've talked about, feel better instantly. Surely that's someone who, therefore if they feel that way about you that quickly, they're more likely to want to spend time with you than the other guy who doesn't make them feel that way. It's about the way you made them feel, which is a thought which creates the emotion. It's not about the fact that if she sucks you off later, it's because she'd do anything because you made her feel loved, wanted, needed. This works for men on men as well. I'm not being sexist, women on women. It's because for the reasons we talked about earlier. You should already be filling in the blanks for yourself. But there's a whole industry built around teaching people these techniques. When in truth, when you strip it back, it's the person's deluded thinking they've got some magic words. Now you can create emotions with stories, yes you can. It is possible to create emotions with stories so that you get an end result. But in terms of speed seduction, for example, you're only going to get an end result if the person would have had any level of attraction to you at some point. In other words, it could take somebody who might take 3 or 4 dates before they jumped in bed with you, to jumping in bed with you after 1 day, but because they feel like they've known you as long as previous relationships took to make them feel that good after 4 days. So it's not magic, it's just the fact that you brought out elicited, positive, feel-good emotions and made them feel loved, wanted, needed, appreciated, cared for, cherished and valued. It's actually common sense when you break it down. But a magic story example I'll give you, because it's a bit vulgar and it gets the point across, is in the Flying Horse where we're going when we finish at the end of the day, those people who like to join me, we're going there for a few drinks, and then when we're there we'll sort out how many people are going for food, because I need to bring up and give them a final number. And I'm going back many years. I was single at the time, so it's okay to tell this story. And there was a barmaid on called Kim at the Flying Horse. I'm going back to the mid-90s here. And I went in one day and I went to the bar and I got a drink. And I tipped her. Immediately, you're like, you do mean you're going to get your end away, tipping the barmaid. I'm not saying that, that's definitely not the case. But it does mean you're more likely to get served a bit quicker next time. That wasn't the point. I tipped her. And I went, got me a drink, and as I was walking, I just turned back and said, oh, just remind you, next time I come to the bar, bearing in mind, this wasn't a complete stranger. I've already been seen and been, shall we say, perceived as being not a nut job on a couple of occasions. So then I walk up and go, oh, when I come back to the bar, remind me about me washing if you don't mind. Go, have a drink. Next time, buy a drink. Tip her, an anchoring positive, ask her how she's doing, showing interest, positive emotions, all the stuff we talked about. I said, oh yeah, I'm going to tell you about, it's alright, I'll tell you later about me washing. Third time, similar thing, well, I've got to get the lads the drink. You're here for another half hour, aren't you? Yeah, alright, I'll tell you about me washing a bit. Bit later, go back for another drink, don't mention the washing. I promise you, they end up asking, you said to tell me about the washing. And at this point, I feel like I may have had a bit to drink and I really shouldn't have said anything to that. Oh, well, it's alright, really, it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, it's all your fault. Walk off. Come, what the fault? What's my fault? Curiosity. You've left curiosity, you've started something and left it untold. Which is for them to try and fill in the blanks. They could conjure up all manner of bloody things. So that will make them even more want to know what the bloody answer is. When you think about it, based on what we talked about today, you can use this technique in therapy positively as well. That's the point of the story. So then towards the end of the night, last order, right, okay. Guaranteed she'll bring up the washing. If for some reason she doesn't, you'll go, oh, I suppose I should tell you really. But they will. They'll go, what about the washing? You go, I'm not sure if I should tell you it, but it's all your fault. It really, really is. Go on, tell me. What are you on about? You go, well, if I tell you, you've got to promise me you won't get angry. And you promise you won't hit me when you do it in a playful manner. Once they promise that they will not hit you or be angry, they have made that decision that they want to know the answer, which means their only option then is to either A, just laugh out loud at the answer, B, well, I'll tell you what the answer is first, and you can work out for yourself what the other options are. So, really, you really want to know, are you sure? I need you to do me washing for me because, since the last time I was in here, a couple of nights ago, I thought about you so much, I've stained all my bedding. And you see them, they turn bright red, and if you have a thermometer, have probably gone red hot as well. And whether they want to or not, I guarantee, and this is going to be crude, sorry ladies, but they will have gone wet between the legs whether they like you or not, because like it or lump it, their memory works like every human being's memory. They've got to try and pattern match, like we spoke about earlier in the day. Well, what's he mean, staying bedding? You won't shit himself. What's that got to do? Oh, wanking over me? Oh, sexy. And it'll just pattern match. Well, because it's pattern matching, unless you're incredibly unlucky and you've got someone who's a rape victim and never got over it, then you're not going to get necessarily the reaction you were hoping. So I'm saying use at your own risk. But generally speaking, I'm glad to say that the only times in the 90s whenever I did use this technique, the result was one of either laughter or bright redness immediately, like embarrassed, and and then try and make a joke of it. But invariably, it worked in terms of creating attraction, because what they do is they pattern match something that's reality to them and that's positive, and immediately attach it to that, so they can bring the story or the loop, as NLP like to call it, starting a loop. You're closing that loop, or they're closing it rather, but it becomes attached to you. And using your hands as well when you talk, which is not good when people have got rise calls for therapy, but it's great for public speaking and so. Yeah, or speed seduction when you're talking to them, you just say phrases like, "So Sarah, I think you were you here for the band last week? Yeah, all right. So you're into the bluesy music, yeah? Yeah. And you know what? I think that you, like me, probably really, really are into." And then you go off on whatever you say. Well, you've said you, like me, and you're pointing at yourself. So you're like, you, me. You're it's what they call in NLP anchoring, or positive association. There's an entire industry in all this. But you know what, at the end of the day, or as much as there might be a little essence of stuff that works, any of that essence that does work, I go into depth in the speed seduction videos that are in the members area, so you can by all means look at them. But I think what it really works, when it does work, it doesn't work all the time for everyone, nothing in life does, is that it gives the individual who's investing time and money into studying the cause a confidence and a more positive attitude and a projected intent that's a bit more extroverted, more confident. And generally speaking, that becomes immediately more attractive. That is how I would sum up what so-called covert conversational hypnosis is. And you know the truth of the matter is, none of it, yeah, some of it's useful in the ways that I've just explained, but none of it's necessary to be successful as a hypnotherapist. None of it's necessary to be successful with street hypnosis. None of it's necessary to be successful as a stage hypnotist. And I say that with faith, because we'll hand you over to Stu in about 10 minutes to bring the marketing bit with relation to niches and websites to an end for the day. So tomorrow we can get on to techniques, locking hands together, locking eyelids, throwing people on the floor, having them zonk out in chairs, and structuring all aspects of the therapy session so you can actually do this. Is how can I be confident that none of it's required? Well, the answer is this, because I had no comprehension of Milton model, of conversational hypnosis, of seduction and all this shit. I had no comprehension of these fancy winky wanky names or techniques back in 1989 when I first started doing hypnotherapy. All I had was I saw an advert. I mean, there was a bit leading up to it. I got bullied at school. If you want to see the full story, it's in the members area, but I got bullied at school, went to the library, I was trying to find a book that helped me out with that. And I found Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, which also have some bits in it that are useful. What I like about this book, like similar books of its ilk, is how they take one sentence and pad it out into loads of pages. And then at the end of the chapter, they have one sentence that sums up the chapter. And having read it, I can tell you that the last sentence of that section of the book, Principle 1, don't criticise, condemn or complain. You don't need to do any more. So if you ever get this book, just read the last sentence of each chapter and you've read it. Speed reading for you. But one of the techniques in there is it says, to each individual, their name is the most beautiful word in the world.